This is Eric Pepke for Dead Man Video. A while back I posted a video inviting Alan Dershowitz to come to the homeless shelter where I was. I'm not in the homeless shelter anymore, and I probably can't go back. So there's a video that I posted. It was Life After Prison Not, and it described my being homeless on the streets and how I expected it was going to kill me. And it is. It's going to kill me. It just took a little bit longer than maybe I had expected. So what happened was this. The only place I could go would be the South Wilmington Men's Homeless Shelter. And they had this elaborate rigmarole on how you had to get a COVID test, and it had to be in writing, and it had to be within 24 hours of when you applied, and maybe they had a bed, and maybe they didn't have a bed, so you had to go through it. I'm not even going to describe it, because if you've never been on the streets with buses as your only transportation and no continuous internet, you don't know what I'm talking about. You do not have the cognitive basis to understand what I'm saying. But it took me about a week working very hard to get a COVID test at the right time and get lucky and get into the shelter. Now, the shelter was pretty good. Well, I missed one part, very important part. I was very afraid of being on the streets because there are many risks an insulin-dependent diabetic faces on the streets. And I've not been able to explain to anybody what they are. Okay, they think it's insulin, or insulin costs too much, or something like that. It's not that at all. It's something entirely different. It's very difficult to keep your feet clean or dry on the streets, and you develop that white skin that you get in the bathtub. It's not a problem for you because you get out of the bath and you go someplace warm and dry and comfy, and your feet dry up and your soles harden and everything's okay. Can't do that when you're out on the streets. And so you also have to walk a lot when you're on the streets because you're constantly, walking away from dangerous circumstances, and you're getting the bum's rush all the time. And you got to find places to get food, which there are. They exist. You can eat, but you've got to travel fairly distantly to get it, and the buses don't go everywhere. So I developed blisters on the soles of both of my feet, where the pads below the toes are. The heel of it's not the heel, It's the part right up next to the toes. And this was not very good. And get into the shelter. And my first concern is dressing my feet and keeping my feet dry and properly medicated, properly dressed, properly protected. But the shelter is a septic place. In particular, there are quite a lot of flies who quite enjoyed being around my feet. And I didn't know what they did to my feet when I was asleep, because being asleep, you can't really tell that sort of thing and still be asleep. And so I had these sores, these ulcers, and they appeared to be healing slowly. And I was trying to keep them as good as I could. Try to keep them dressed. Also, I'm planning to save up enough of my pension, which is small, but it's something and I was doing part-time work, and I wanted to save up enough money to be able to interest a landlord to give me a room or something. And it was difficult because even though there are rooms available for $500-600, they want you to have 3 times that as a monthly income, and that was difficult for me. I didn't need it. Sure, it would have been nice to save, but I can survive with spending very little apart from the room. I had food stamps, so I get food. As I say, there's plenty of places for the homeless or the needy to get food. Um, so I didn't really need a lot, but landlords don't do things for you if they don't want to. Then at the shelter, there was an event, and I felt for my safety I had to leave. I'm not going to talk much about the event because I'm prosecuting 2 lawsuits about it, and that shows a great deal of optimism on my part because I don't expect to live long enough even to get to the first hearing. Um, but I got out, I got into an extended stay for about a week. Things were going pretty well. There was a guy who wanted to give me a job, which would have solved all my problems. And the only problem was my right foot. My right foot was not healing as quickly as I wanted it, so I was saying, a few days, keep it well dressed, etc. Then, when I was asleep over a period of about 4 to 5 hours, my right foot doubled in size. I had to go to the hospital and I got an amputation below the knee, and I'm going to show it to you. That's what it is. Okay, I don't have as great a video setup as Footless Joe does, but they did a pretty good job with the staples you can see here. And it's really a nice, beautiful job, but it means I don't have a foot anymore. And with the foot, of course, went pretty much every prospect of a job. Now, if I can stay alive long enough, I can get back my computer skills and my sit-down skills and find something, yada, yada, yada. Be able to get online, do various coding acts online, but that's going to take some time, more than I have to live. And right now I'm in an extended stay. I was supposed to leave today. I had enough money for 3 more days, and I paid for 3 more days. So I'm going to be here 3 more days. After that, I can't go back to the homeless shelter. I mean, not only is it unsafe and septic, but now they have a COVID quarantine. And so nobody can be admitted into it. And that's going to last at least until October. Now, what does at least until October mean? Maybe November, maybe December. Who knows? Anyway, I'm going to be out on the streets, and I have to be out on the streets at least 2 weeks until I get my next pension check, and then I can get maybe close to 2 weeks in an extended stay. So it'll be maybe a little bit less than 2 weeks inside and the rest of the month off. Now, it only took me 1 week to develop the injuries and possibly the infection, although the infection might have happened at the homeless shelter. It hardly matters because that's the only place I could conceive of going back, even though I can't do it now. But I'm pretty sure it's going to kill me. And I'm pretty sure that there's nothing that could be done about it. I mean, it's physically possible. It wouldn't take much. All I would need would be a place to stay, a room, a bathroom, bathtub where I can wash my stump, um, toilet, maybe cook in the kitchen. For this, I could easily pay $600 a month. And I have had situations where I've gotten along fine on $500 a month renting room and no extra income because I know how to get little bits of stuff. I used to go around on my bicycle and pick up returnable bottles. Of course, they don't have returnable bottles here, but I could find a little bit of ways to make a little bit of extra income, and I don't need much because I don't have to buy much. So there are a couple of people, social worker, friend, couple friends, who are looking for something to save my life. But they've been looking for a while. And they're very earnest about it, and they're very dedicated, but you can't find what doesn't exist. So I've got 3 days for a miracle to happen to save my life. Otherwise, I'm going out on the streets, this time in a wheelchair, which is going to be a wee tad more difficult. And I won't be able to carry clean clothes, so things will be a lot more septic and smelly. And it's going to kill me. And so this time, when I say that's all I've got to say, that's probably true forever.